that black folk have sought justice and not revenge. We are exhausted from living in a system that neglects us. America's identity is founded on systemic racism. We're tired of saying names. We're tired of writing hashtags. In the words of the great prophet Fannie Lou Hamer, we're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And as they prepare tomorrow to make their final closing arguments in that case, America is already bracing for the worst. They've already begun to board up buildings in Minneapolis. They've already called in the National Guard and extra police force to deal with the potential civil unrest should there be an acquittal in this case. It's amazing how they get so prepared for black folk, amen, to express their grievances. Yet for months they were saying they were going to the Capitol on January 6th. They didn't board up a building. They didn't call on the National Guard. They didn't get any extra police presence. Why? Because they had the complexion for the protection. When the crack epidemic was here, they said we had to get tough on drugs. Just say no. Zero tolerance. And they criminalized both the drug dealer and the drug user, and they used it to mass incarcerate generations of black people. All of a sudden, when opioids, heroin, and Oxycontin and oxycodone became a problem in America, but the face of the users were white faces. They did not say zero tolerance. They did not say we have to lock them up. What they said was it's a public health crisis, and the users have have a sickness that needs to be dealt with, and we need to be kind and gentle and put them in programs and give them resources and help them get over their addiction. And it seems like all of a sudden now the same ones who had looked at a kinder, gentler response to opioids when George Floyd had opioids in his system, they went back to, well, he's a criminal anyway. Well, what about your mama and them and your children them and all them white kids out there in the suburbs that are on opioids? Do they deserve to have a police officer put his knee in their necks for 9 minutes until he chokes the life out of them? And what happens here in this text, Jesus violates this separation of space by entering into the demonized space of the Samaritans. And that's my first point. Jesus crosses boundaries to reach the marginalized. Jesus placed himself in the middle of those that were the most denigrated, the most marginalized, the most feared. He ignored all of the prevailing caricatures about the Samaritan people as unclean and dangerous people. He flagrantly dismissed the social religious narratives about Samaritans by going out of his way to enter into their space. And it shows his intentional solidarity with a crucified class of people. Jesus, again, God incarnate, is affirming the sacred worth of this woman. That's my second point. Jesus affirms that Black Lives Matter. Jesus frees her from the social religious constructs that deemed her as an offense and restores her sacred identity. Associating with her, he raises her profile. Y'all ain't gonna help me in here. Now watch this. At the same time he raises her profile in her community, in his community, they look down upon him for associating with her, so he lowered his profile in the eyes of his community. In other words, he leveled the playing field.
it across. Thank you, Jesus. Don't pull up the ladder because you climbed to the top. Don't blow up the bridge because you made your way across. Thank you, Jesus. But reach your hand back down the ladder and pull somebody else up out of Lodabar. Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. That's the name of the Lord. Somebody got to tell themselves it's all right if you got it now. Just hold it for me. I'll be there to get it after a while. Oh, bless the name of the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. You've got to make up in your mind that what God has for me, it is for me. I might not have it right now. I may not get it next week. You might try to stop me from getting it. But if God said it's mine, I want you to know after a while, I'm going to get what belongs to me. Sometimes God got to strip what you got so you don't depend on yourself. You got to take away from you.
90.7 WTCC. Good morning and welcome to the Spoken Word. I'm your host, Bishop Talbert Swan II. And as usual, we'll be telling it like it is through cultural idioms, nuances that shape the order, ethos, and chaos of the African American experience. Words have their own vitality. They shape their own consciousness and create their own context for interpreting social and spiritual reality. The spoken word contains the power to reshape the landscape of society. 3 minutes past the hour of 9 a.m. And I want to thank Mr. Kenneth Barnett for bringing us up into the 9 o'clock hour with the promise. You can hear the promise every Monday morning from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., bringing you the best in gospel music. Good way to start out your Monday morning. A great way to start out your week. Listen, it is Memorial Day. I don't know what the weather is for you all in other parts of the country, but here where I am in Massachusetts, it's raining. Ain't gonna be no cookouts today. Might be some cook-ins, but no cookouts. But in any case, many of you have the day off. And you've been told that this is a day to commemorate, memorialize the fallen heroes from all wars. I want to tell you the truth about Memorial Day, the black roots of Memorial Day, how it was snatched and stolen from us like so many things are, and whitewashed. Go to my Twitter account now, and I put a thread early this morning giving a history of Memorial Day. You want to share that. You want people to know what this is really all about. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the black veterans, the black military men and women who lost their lives fighting for these yet to be United States of America, and how they were never respected, never regarded, never revered. Talking about that, and we'll take your telephone calls, 413-337-14 1867 413 337 1867 is the number here. Do me a favor, rep your city, rep your town. Let me know where you're chiming in from. Definitely want to find out where you're listening from. I see Philadelphia in the house already repping. I see Chesapeake, Virginia already repping. So come on, rep your city, rep your town. Listen, on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of this week, the annual workers meeting of the Nova Scotia jurisdiction of the Church of God in Christ will take place at the Spring of Hope Church of God in Christ, 35 Alden Street, Springfield, Massachusetts, 7 p.m. on Thursday and Friday night. Our leadership summit will be Saturday in a webinar at 1 o'clock p.m. with the Bishop Matthew Brown. So you definitely want to be a part of that experience. All right, do me a favor, share, no matter where you're in from, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I got the gram on deck. So I need all y'all to share. Let somebody know the bishop is on the air right now. Okay, talking about this whole Memorial Day whitewashing, because that's really what it is. I mean, so many times they have taken so many things from us, and I mean, the history of it just disappeared. And I think you ought to know what it's really about. All right, don't go nowhere. We're coming right back. Share it. Let a friend know we're on the air.
I look in the mirror and I like what I see. A strong, beautiful black woman staring back at me. One who's seen a lot of pain and had her share of sorrow, but who never gave up hope for a brighter tomorrow. I've been lied to, cheated on, stolen from and hit, but it just made me stronger and I refuse to quit. And though I've been tempted, I refuse to stoop to their level. Don't go down. I rose above that nonsense and made a liar of the devil. All right now. The devil who said I wasn't cute enough or worthy of love, I his blood with divine power of love. Power that says I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me, and brought me out of darkness so that I could see that I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I'm a child of the King. Abundant love for me, he came to bring. Oh yes, when I look in the mirror, I love what I see. She's looking good. That strong, beautiful black woman, that woman is me.
Brothers that passed, but more particularly one because it affected me drastically. I remember my sister gave me the call and I was in awe. Matter of fact, it felt the farthest from reality. She seen somebody post RIP with his name and I said I doubt it's the same friend I had since the 7th grade. She said I'ma call his sister and double check and call me back. Said he hanged himself in his room and had been there for days. Initially it didn't hit me, then it clicked and I remembered that I hadn't seen or heard from the homie all week. Wish he had told me what had him feeling lonely and weak. I guess everybody got demons we don't even speak of, cause I was with him exactly a week before the call. Just under 20, he couldn't even purchase alcohol. My best friend for like 6 to 7 years. I'm not ashamed to say I shedded plenty tears, but it was hard. He was somebody I had plenty memories with. The first person I ever burned any. The worst feeling is knowing that you would leave us and all this without a reason. One of the first people to ever believe in me when it came down to it. You knew you could call me if you needed me. Cause that and now I see all the drive that it gave me. I learned more about why I am who I am on the daily. I know it may sound crazy, but I'm glad that it made me. Yeah, was born the son of a pastor, was who I was named after. Matter of fact, I even got some of his characteristics. Both of us got messages for the people. I just do mine with rhythm on beat. He do his on the pulpit with scriptures. Well connected, respected in the community. Ever since I was little, I felt like there was some pressure on me. It started off with little stuff like when my folk brought us to church and then they forced us to get up and say a testimony. Getting that had to watch how I acted in public, cause people wouldn't hesitate to put that in discussion. Chatting like, isn't that the pastor's kid? I'm like, yeah, that's me, but please don't expect me to be exactly like my daddy. Discredit my family for how I am. Little kid no more, I'm now a man. And I ain't pointing fingers, I'm not trying to do no blaming at all. When it comes to how I came up, I wouldn't change it at all, because it made me. There was plenty times when I thought that it would drive me crazy. But looking back on it, now I see all the drive that it gave me. I learned more about why I am who I am on the daily. I know it may sound crazy, but I'm glad that it made me. Yeah, glad that it made me. Yeah, glad that it made me. Looking back on it, now I see all the drive that it made me. So glad that it made me. Yeah, made me. Yeah, it made me.
All right, y'all need to check that out. That's music by T Swan, my namesake, my son, my beloved son, and whom I'm well pleased. So anywhere there's streaming music, check out T Swan. He's got some new stuff out. And before that, you heard a poem by my sister Rhonda Swan, who started out on this program with me on the spoken word 20 years ago when we started, 21 years ago now, when we started on this program, and that was called I Like What I See. And you can also get her spoken word pieces on Spotify, Pandora, wherever you stream music from. Look up Rhonda Swan, look up T Swan, T apostrophe SWAN, that's my son. And I've even got an EP out there I did in the wake of the George Floyd murder last year, entitled We Still Can't Breathe. And so you get that EP too, stream that as well. Look for Bishop Talbert Swan. So the Swans are all over the place. So check us out, all right? Show our brothers some love. Give us a little bit of support out here. It's mean here in these streets, and so we're just trying to get some love from our peeps. 413-337-1867. Are y'all repping your city? Are y'all repping your town? What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Let me see. I already saw Philly. I already saw Chesapeake, Virginia. I see we got somebody on here who is on somebody named Daisy. Is it Daisy? Yeah, somebody named Daisy who is on YouTube trolling. I mean, just I don't know if it's a she or not, because often these white supremacists, these males, are the most cowardly and talk the most smack. And they pretend that there's somebody that they're not. But I see Daisy on here talking about how we've got no accomplishments, it's a fairy tale illusions, we got no history. I'm hoping I'm reading this right, unless Daisy's talking to somebody else, but it looks like she says you're not relevant. Why don't you live in Africa? Oh, yeah. Daisy, why don't you live in Italy or France or Ireland or wherever your European ancestors came from? Why aren't you crawling around in the caves in the places that your European ancestors came from? You know, tell me that. But anyway, bye bye. Daisy's gone. Trolling around in my YouTube mentions with that white supremacist foolishness. Oh boy, you just can't get rid of them. It's amazing, you know, y'all run the planet. you run the United States, and then you still can't just stay out of black folk business. You got to troll around in our social media and all of that, and try to exert your will on us because I'm white and I say so. I'm talking about no accomplishments. Your mama got no accomplishments. Anyway, 413 337 1867 is the number here. I was actually trying to see where my peeps was coming in from. I see Baton Rouge, Louisiana up in here. Where else y'all coming from? Somebody is in here from Kenya, in Africa. Do me a favor. Let me know where you're coming from. Rep your city, rep your town. Somebody said, bye, Daisy. Everybody type that in the comments that's on YouTube. Type bye, Daisy, and wave at her. Put a waving hand at Daisy. London, England is in the house right here, right now. 413-337-1867. I think that's my grandbaby over there. You over there, Maya? Come on over here, baby, if you want to come hang out with Papa. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, up in the hizzy. Who else? Come on, who else is up in here? Bye, Felicia. Bye, Daisy. Daisy gone, y'all. Daisy gone. Daisy is history. All right. Chi-Town in the house. Evan, I didn't know you were from Chi-Town. You're a faithful follower, but I didn't know you were from Chi-Town. I know I get a few Chicago folks up in here regularly. My cousin Lisa, my daughter Whitney, and some others up in here, but I did not know you were from the Chi. Welcome to the program, everyone. 413-337-1867. Born and raised, all right? All right. Okay, grandbaby, say hello to the people out there. So I was in 5 cities in 5 days last week. I flew to Pittsburgh for a funeral of a dear friend, General Board member of the Church of God in Christ, Bishop Lauren Mann. So I was in Pittsburgh. I was in Cranberry, Pennsylvania. I was in Cleveland, Ohio. I was in Baltimore. So anyway, I was 5 cities, 5 days, 5 airplanes. But the most important was I flew to Atlanta to get my grandbaby to bring her back here for the summer. And here she is in her PJs. Early, she must have heard Papa, rummaging around, headed down to the man cave to do the radio show. So say hey, Maya.
Hi.
All right. So listen, let me give you this history of Memorial Day, because often we come to this holiday without really having an understanding of what it's really all about, or at least what its roots were. We understand the contemporary meaning based upon it becoming a national holiday in the United States circa 1971. But often we don't understand its origin, where it came from. Columbus, Georgia, up in here. And we need to really understand it, because often the history of black people, gets erased, gets whitewashed, gets pushed aside. And that's why we call it his story, because most of the time white supremacy tells their story. But someone once said that the tale of the hunt is much different when it's the lion telling the story instead of the hunter. And the same thing is true of American history. When marginalized people tell the story, it is much different than when colonizing people tell the same story. And that's just real. That's just how it is. So the real date, even though we celebrated on May 31st, the real date was May 1st, 1865. Shortly after emancipation, A year after the Arlington National Cemetery was founded in Virginia. There was another cemetery 532 miles south that was becoming a part of history. It was located in Charleston, South Carolina, and there's a lot of black history in Charleston, South Carolina. Many black people came into these yet to be United States through ports in Charleston, South Carolina. That famous church, Mother Emanuel Church in Charleston, the church home of Denmark Vesey and others. But Charleston was the final resting place. It was a cemetery, the final resting place of 200 soldiers, black soldiers, who died during the Civil War. You've got to understand, black folk fought in the Civil War. Matter of fact, the first person who died, the first casualty of the Civil War, was right here in Massachusetts. A gentleman named Crispus Attucks was the first casualty of the Civil War. A black man was the first to shed his blood in the most bloody war in the history of America. And what happened back in 1865 remain buried, under the rubbish of whitenized history. It would be buried for over 100 years. What happened there was hidden because they did not want you to know that this Memorial Day was the brainchild and was birthed from black people. And it wasn't until a renowned white Yale University professor discovered that black people founded what is now known to millions as Memorial Day, that we even had this information and this very important part of history. It was completely wiped away, whitewashed, erased from history. It's a story that has stirred mixed emotions. It's jolted the pride of white cities, because you have to understand there are several white cities that give themselves the credit for being the city founded and started Memorial Day. And, you know, they got to hide this history because they can't let you know that black folk actually, you know, started this. It's like white Christians. They hide the real pictures from Poland and other places that depicted the Madonna and child as a black woman and a black child. They got to hide that because if we're going to push white supremacy, deity can't be black, you know. So they whitewashed Jesus. They did the same thing with Memorial Day. They erased it from history. It has triggered their fragility when you talk about it, because these cities for decades have claimed to be the birthplace of one of the nation's most hallowed holidays. None of these claims included the black narrative. Okay, what was once Union Cemetery, right? It was Union Cemetery, where 200 black soldiers were buried. Union Cemetery is now a sprawling 60-acre park in a predominantly white neighborhood in Charleston. Let me say that again. Union Cemetery, where 200 black soldiers who were reburied after they were thrown into a mass grave by racist white folks, has now become a sprawling 60-acre park in a predominantly white neighborhood in Charleston, South Carolina. It's got lush gardens and ponds and a gazebo and fountain. But in that park, there is a bronze plaque, just a little bitty plaque, because, you know, we're not more than a plaque. Oh, boy. That acknowledges the park as the site of the first Memorial Day. and where decorated, where thousands came to decorate the graves of black soldiers. That's how Memorial Day started in Charleston. Thousands of black people came to decorate the graves of black soldiers who were reburied there after Confederate soldiers interred them in mass graves. It was first called Decoration Day. Decoration Day has morphed into what we now call Memorial Day. The soldiers' families held a parade. They decorated the graves on 1865, and that started Decoration Day. Today, it's Memorial Day. Congress passed a law in 1968, and it made Memorial Day an official federal holiday that went into effect in 1971. Over 100 years after the first commemoration of Decoration Day / Memorial Day by black people in 1865. This was our holiday. This was our commemoration. This was our thing. It was started by a group of African Americans. And this has been borne out for you trolls and you folk that are getting a little antsy right now, because I know you white supremacist trolls, y'all often monitor my channels and stuff. This has been borne out even by your own historians. As I told you, it was a white Yale professor who had discovered this hidden history. The History Channel, other credible historians, they've all confirmed that Memorial Day is in fact a holiday that initially started from an event held by newly liberated black people in Charleston on May 1st, 1865, right after the Civil War. That is the fact of the matter. This is our holiday. Once again, go to my Twitter, check out the thread that I put up that gave that history of Memorial Day, that lets you know exactly where it came from. There were black women, black children who sang hymns. They carried flowers, wreaths, crosses, decorated those graves. And then what happened? Baby, ask me what happened. You're supposed to say
The
what?
holiday was whitewashed.
There you go. There you go. The holiday was whitewashed. See, even my grandbaby knows that. The holiday was whitewashed. White folks took it over. You know, they decided this is for us. The history of Decoration Day by African Americans was suddenly erased from the story by white Democrats. Dixiecrats, yes, after they gained control of state politics at the end of Reconstruction. They decided to wipe it away. A day that originally celebrated black liberation was now being utilized for white supremacy. How often does that happen? How often does that happen? I mean, that happens in modern day. Let's take the Me Too movement. Something started by a black woman, Tarana Burke, to give voice to disenfranchised and abused black women who were voiceless, was hijacked by rich Hollywood white women. I mean, we can go through the gamut of how often this happens to us over and over and over and over again. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Bishop Swan. So what's happening is, and what we're finding out is that they really don't have any history. They're just taking history from everybody else. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your call. 413-337-1867. It happens over and over and over again. Black folks create something, white folks hijack it and pretend it was theirs. As I was talking about the Me Too movement, before you know it, they were giving Alyssa Milano and other white women credit for saying Me Too, just like they just was going to erase Tirana just completely out of the mix. And that's what they did with Memorial Day. That's what they did. They tried to discredit the facts for years that the historians came up with. They bent over backwards, and even today, you rarely hear the truth about it. You're hearing it on my program, but how often have you heard, honestly, how often have you heard this history of how Memorial Day actually started? I'd venture to say it's been rare. It's been rare, but the historians agree that this is the fact. This is it. Holiday meant to celebrate black liberation now celebrates white folks colonizing and bombing other places. It celebrates white folks bombing Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It celebrates white folks doing preemptive strikes on Iraq for weapons of mass destruction that never existed. It celebrates white folks going over and killing Vietnamese men, women, and children. It celebrates all of the injustice that America has engaged in. Celebrates those who went into the Democratic Republic of the Congo and assassinated Patrice Lumumba. It celebrates those, who went over into Libya and assassinated Muammar Gaddafi and his children. It celebrates the heinous acts of white supremacy when it was created to celebrate the liberal black people and the black soldiers that fought on the side of the Civil War against the Confederacy to give black folks freedom. They've completely perverted the Memorial Day holiday. So when you all out there celebrating today, remember that. Remember those 200 black soldiers that were thrown into mass graves like they were trash, like they were refuse by Confederate soldiers, and the fact that they had to be reburied in Union Cemetery. And remember the fact that Union Cemetery is now a park in a predominantly white neighborhood for the use and enjoyment of white folks, with just a little bitty plaque that acknowledges this is the site of the first Memorial Day, where thousands of black folks came together to decorate the graves of these brave soldiers who for our freedom. Let's remember that, because that's what's important on this day. That is not the sales, it's not cookouts that y'all in Massachusetts probably can't do today because of the rain, but it's about a lost history that we need to regain. And then we need to remember black veterans, black folks who have served in the military, who have never been respected by this nation. They always talk about respect your military. Don't bend your knee Don't take a knee. No, you respect our flag. Respect our military. Respect the police. Yeah, until they're storming the Capitol and killing the police. So, but America has never respected black veterans. I mean, we do all of this stuff to celebrate and honor folks who risked their lives on the battlefield, but we don't remember that black veterans were more likely to be attacked for their service than honored for it. Yeah, because a lot of white folks didn't want black folks even serving in the military. They resented them for having the audacity that nigga shouldn't be wearing our flag. That's the kind of treatment that black veterans received. To be a soldier is to receive training in weapons and organizations and tactics, the skills of self-assertion, to protect the country, etc., 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 to risk one's lives, be a warrior. And America is supposed to honor and respect and revere its warriors. But that has not been the story when black soldiers have returned home from war. When they've returned home, they were looked at as being uppity. They were still N-words. They were still told, don't look me in my eye, boy. I don't care if you served in the military or not. Black folks serving in the military and moving up in the ranks in the military has infuriated and terrified white America. And we've received nothing but reactionary aggression for our service to this nation. When the Civil War broke out, the U.S. was reluctant to even let black soldiers fight at all. They claimed they had concerns over white soldiers' morals and the respect black soldiers would feel entitled to when the war ended. In other words, these N-words are going to want respect for having served. And after they get done serving, we're going to treat them just like the N-words we were treating them like before they got into the military. And we're not going to give them any additional respect. This is what black veterans have had to endure for time immemorial in these yet to be United States of America. And the only reason that the Union Army allowed black folks to come in was because the toll was increasing. The skeptics were relentless in prognosticating their potential defeat. They needed us. They needed our ancestors to fight that war. And by the time the Civil War ended, almost 200,000 black men were enlisted. 200,000. Okay? Watch the movie Glory. If you never watched it, the movie is about it's over 30 years old now. Boy, I'm telling you, I feel so old now. I remember when that movie first came out with Denzel Washington. It's hard to believe that movie is now 30 years old. But watch the movie Glory. It really kind of gives you a glimpse into the life of blacks who were serving in the military. It's about an infantry out of Massachusetts that served, and what happened to those black troops during the fighting, and you need to know what happened to black troops after the fighting stopped, particularly when you look at Vietnam and other wars. And there are very few high school or college students who learn about the military history of how black soldiers were treated. They're not told about those disparities. They're not told that our people weren't welcome. They're not told any of that. 413-37-1867 is the number here if you want to chime in on the conversation. We're talking about the whitewashing of Memorial Day. We're talking about the history of black folks serving in the armed forces and the lack of respect that they were given and what they are really due in terms of that respect. It was in 1877 when Reconstruction ended that black veterans living in the southern states became targets of white violence. White newspapers began to spread rumors of black soldiers assaulting white police and assaulting white women. As that happened, we're commemorating this month the 100th anniversary of the Tulsa massacre, when white folks destroyed the Greenwood neighborhood of Tulsa and murdered up to 500 black people and burnt their neighborhood to the ground, all because a white woman lied and said she was sexually assaulted by a black elevator operator. So how often has that been the narrative? Our black veterans dealt with that quite often, being accused of assaulting white women. States across the South prohibited black people from handling weapons. And let me just pause parenthetically right there to say, if you ever want to really deal with the gun problem, black folks go out and get weapons. Man, you're talking about how quick these white folks have passed laws that they won't touch. Every time there's a mass shooting, the conversation goes to, we need to change the gun laws. And, you know, white Republicans and conservatives say, no, we got enough gun laws. We just need to enforce the ones that we have. And they resist. And this conversation goes on and on and on to the break of dawn. But if you really want to change it, get a gun into the hands of black people. Okay? They will change them laws lickety split. Okay? Quick, fast, and in a hurry. I promise you. You know, history is the teacher. You remember when those of you that are students of history, when the Black Panthers went to the Capitol in California, strapped. You need to get that iconic picture of them standing on the steps of the California state capitol. Scared the bejesus out of Ronald Reagan, who was the governor at the time, and white folks. Scared them. A bunch of black folks carrying rifles and guns and stuff like that. And the Mulford Act is what it was called, was passed, requiring background checks and all kinds of restrictions on who could carry a gun in public. And guess who supported restrictive gun legislation for the first time in history? The NRA, the National Rifle Association, jumped on board and supported gun legislation because black folk had guns. The NRA is one of the biggest lobbyists in the world, and they lobby against all gun legislation. But not that day, not that time, when they said, oh, we got to get these guns out of the hand of these N-words. The NRA jumped board, okay, to support gun legislation. So if you ever want to really deal with gun legislation, all you got to do is, and I promise you, if all of these mass shootings, I don't even know why I'm this way, but I said I'll pause parenthetically. All of these mass shootings, instead of them being from white males, if these were black males doing all these mass shootings instead of white males, man, we wouldn't have no problem with them doing gun legislation. They would have been done legislation. If every time you turned around, it was a black male running into the mall, running into the school, running into shipyards, running into FedEx and post offices and places like that and banks and murdering up white folks, man, please. They would pass gun legislation before you could blink. That's real. But that's what they did. 1877, they restricted black folks from handling weapons. Compared to those who had not served, former soldiers were disproportionately assaulted. They were driven from their homes. And in most extreme cases, they were lynched in public. Soldiers served their country, okay? Risked their lives, lynched in public. This is the lack of respect that black veterans have always received in America. They targeted black veterans. I mean, this was a trend. There are all kinds of shocking examples that we can point to over and over and over again. One in particular in Bardstown, in Nelson County, Kentucky, there was a white mob that brutally lynched a United States veteran, a black United States veteran. They stripped him of his clothes. They beat him. They cut off his sexual organs. Okay? They cut off his sexual organs. And then after that, he was forced to run half a mile to a bridge outside of town where he was shot and killed. A veteran, a black veteran. This is how our people have been treated. When the first war broke out, black thinkers and black writers, they debated the merits of signing up to fight for a country that functionally denied them full citizenship. 380,000 black men heeded W.E.B. Du Bois' call to enlist in the segregated army. Many of them hoping that doing so would increase the standing of blacks on the home front. But for much of white America, frontline military service by black folk undercut the claim of racial superiority around which their lives and their economies were built. And it was in a speech on the Senate floor in 1917, Mississippi Senator James Vardaman warned that the return of black veterans to the South would inevitably lead to disaster. He said, once you impress the Negro with the fact that he is defending the flag and inflate his untutored soul with military airs, it was going to be a problem. And he basically said the political rights of white folks had to be respected. America was never even for black folks serving in the military, and they never respected black folks who did. And in spite of all of that, and here's the thing, there has not been an American war or conflict that has been fought from the Civil War on that black folks have not shed their blood. Okay? And in spite of this type of rhetoric that was going on around the Second World War, still 1.2 million black men enlisted. 1.2 million black men enlisted in the Second World War. Black folks have always displayed a commitment to America. And in spite of the heinous way that we have always been treated, they have still had a faith in America that at some point in time, America will change and treat black people right. And even though it has never lived up to that promise, black folk have continued to hold that faith. And based on that, 1.2 million black men fought in World War II on the side of America. So don't y'all get up in our face telling us respect our flag when we take a knee to protest injustice. Don't talk to us about respecting the flag. We've respected the flag more than y'all have. We've respected the nation more than you have. Our ancestors built this nation. Talk to us about respecting our flag. I don't want to hear that nonsense. I'm going to take a knee for injustice. And I come from a family full of veterans. Right? My uncle Talbert died in military service. My cousin James Alvin died in the Vietnam War in military service. My father served. My wife served. My uncle, who I'm named for, served. My uncle Ben served. My daughter Talon served. Now, my family is full of folks who have served in the military. Don't give us no doggone speeches about respecting our flag. You don't respect the flag, and you don't respect the nation, and you don't respect the black people who bled and died on behalf of a nation that has never respected them. So let's just keep it a buck, okay? 413-337-1867. Where are my black veterans out here? Y'all out here?
If my dad
give me a shout out.
He would call in.
She's an Army brat. Her father served as well. That's the story of black people. Story of black people. So we don't want to hear y'all tell us we don't love this nation and all of that foolery that y'all be talking about. Y'all just got here, a couple generations ago anyway. So we ain't trying to hear any of that stuff.
What does it say?
Black folk have bled in every single conflict in this nation, and we deserve respect. So give us our holiday back. Okay? Give us our holiday back. Black souls being attacked immediately after coming home from wars, often by the drivers of the buses that would bring them home. It's crazy because basically we're saying that black soldiers should not expect big rights. It was like, so what, you served. Don't expect us to treat you any better than we've always treated you. You're still an N-word. That has always been the message that America has given to us. And so when we celebrate, if we celebrate this holiday, let's celebrate it in the true sense of its actual founding by our ancestors. Let's celebrate. Matter of fact, let me find my tweet thread, because she doesn't realize I'm on the radio live, so she's just talking. Yes, that's Auntie. So here's my tweet thread. Y'all need to go get it and retweet it. If you got a Twitter account, go retweet my tweet thread on Memorial Day. Every one of them. All right. Memorial Day, formerly known as Decoration Day, originally started by a group of African Americans. The holiday was initially an event held by newly liberated black people in Charleston, South Carolina. On May 1st, 1865, at the end of the Civil War, thousands of newly freed slaves and regiments of the U.S. colored troops gathered to march around a Confederate Army prison camp in honor of the unnamed fallen Union soldiers, all right, who fought for their freedom. African Americans were erased from the story of Memorial Day by white Democrats after they regained control of state politics at the end of Reconstruction, a day that celebrated once again black liberation was hijacked by white supremacists. The spirit of the first Decoration Day was to commemorate the struggle for black liberation and the fight against racism. That was the spirit of the first Decoration Day, which became Memorial Day. And it was unfortunately whitewashed into what we currently celebrate as Memorial Day. And so here's the deal. In the spirit of our ancestors who saw the end of the Civil War with an emancipationist vision that included radical reconstruction, the annihilation of racism and black liberation, today we all celebrate the heroes and the heroines who died in the struggle for freedom. And so in that spirit, we remember 2 million Africans who died during the Middle Passage across the Atlantic, and millions more who died during the march to or the confinement along the coast. We remember the millions who lived and died in bondage in the worst form of slavery in history. We remember the Underground Railroad, the freedom fighters, all right, many of them. I can't name them all. I only got 2 minutes left in the program, but we remember Harriet Tubman, Henry Box Brown, John Parker, Margaret Garner, Reverend John and Jean Rankin, Robert Smalls, William Steele, Frederick Douglass. Too many for me to name. We remember them all because they gave their lives for our freedom. I've got to transition out of the spoken word program. I'll continue on for a little bit longer with those of you who are streaming with me. So those who are listening on the radio who want to keep rolling with us, jump on the internet onto our live stream. If you're looking for a place to worship, check us out at the Spring of Hope Church of God in Christ every Sunday morning, 11 o'clock a.m. Join us in the sanctuary. Yes, we are in the sanctuary. Most of our members have been fully vaccinated. We are still social distancing and using all protocols to keep you safe. So feel free to join us in the sanctuary. All right. I got to go until the next time I talk to you and you talk to me. Always remember, he loves you, and so do I. right, we're back with you, and the telephone lines are lighting up for some reason. Good morning, caller.
Yes, Bishop. How are you?
I'm good. You?
That sounds good. I've listened to you here and there, Bishop Swan, and talking about racism. I mean, but the thing is that can we focus on now? I mean, we know what happened in the past. I mean, but this is, I mean, Martin Luther King came, we have the civil rights movement. So how come we cannot focus on now and improve from then?
I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? How come we can't focus on now? It's Memorial Day. I'm talking about the history of Memorial Day.
Because systemic racism ended a long time ago.
Yeah, sure it did.
No,
What date did it end?
1968.
Systemic racism ended in 1968.
lie.
Yes, sir.
Really? Okay. What happened in 1960 that ended systemic racism? When they murdered Dr. King? Oh, so systemic racism ended when they murdered Martin Luther King.
Yes. And now discrimination has finally ended. Now the issue is black people aren't making the right decision.
So let me ask you a question. How much meth have you smoked this morning?
None.
Crack?
I mean, I listen a lot of Thomas Sowell.
Crack?
No. Just Thomas Sowell.
So you're high off Thomas Sowell.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what kind of rehab you need to go to, but get some help. 413-337-1867. I wasn't going to engage debate with that foolery.
That's just stupid.
Yeah, systemic racism ended when they killed Dr. King. Yeah. Murder one of our leaders, and that ends racism. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. I think he was trolling.
Probably.
I think he was trolling. 413-337-1867. It is Memorial Day. All right, go ask your grandmother if she's coming on here with me, so I can direct you to go. It is Memorial Day, okay, and we remember those who fought for freedom, justice, and equality. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Mr. Swan.
How are you?
I want to know, hi, what's your number on Adams Street? What number is Spring Hope?
35 Alder Street.
Okay, 35. It's Anne Marie Mitchell.
How are you?
Listen to your program.
All right.
And I'm listening in, and being encouraged.
All right, come by and visit us.
Okay.
All right, God bless.
When can I call you?
You can call my office anytime. 413-733-1032.
Okay.
All right, God bless.
Bye-bye.
413-337-1867. All right. We're talking about Memorial Day. We're talking about the treatment of black soldiers. We're remembering those who died for our freedom. We remember the martyrs who lost their lives during the civil rights movement. We're remembering Reverend George Lee and Lamar Smith and Emmett Till and John Earl Reese and Willie Edward Jr. and Mac Charles. We're remembering Herbert Lee and Corporal Roman Ducksworth Jr. We're remembering Medgar Evers. We're remembering Addie Mae Collins. We're remembering Denise McNair. We are remembering Carol Robertson, Cynthia Wesley, Virgil Lamar Ware. We're remembering Henry Hezekiah, James Earl Cheney, Andrew Goodman, Michael Schwerner. We're remembering Jimmy Lee Jackson, Reverend James Reed, Viola Greg Luzo. We are remembering Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We're remembering Malcolm X and Nelson Mandela and Steve Biko, and we're remembering Fannie Lou Hamer, and we're remembering Mary Church Terrell and Richard Allen and Ida B. Wells and Ella Baker, Shirley Chisholm, and we're remembering Marcus Mosiah Garvey and W.E.B. Du Bois and James Baldwin. We're remembering those who have been the victims of modern tyranny against black bodies in our modern struggle. We're remembering Terrence Crutcher and Philando Castile and Samuel Du Bois and Sandra Bland and Freddie Gray and Tamir Rice and Walter Scott and Laquan McDonald and Eric Garner and Ayanna Jones and Keith Scott and George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Botham Jean. We're remembering the martyrs who gave their lives. We're remembering the black bodies whose lives were taken in this never-ending war against white supremacy. That's what we're remembering on this Memorial Day.
Oh, maybe she's sleeping in.
That's what you ought to remember on this Memorial Day. Okay? So I'll stay on for a little bit longer for those of you who want to come in. If you got anybody you want to give a shout out to on this Memorial Day, I named some folks. If there's some names you think ought to be called, give me a call. You got some family members who served in the military. Give me a call. Let me know. 413-337-1867. We'll keep the phone lines open for a little bit longer as we celebrate in our own special way on this Memorial Day. All right, y'all. 413-337-1867. I'm going to get to some of you all's comments momentarily because I'm sure this y'all already said bye to Daisy, but I'm sure there's some interesting stuff here that I need to be paying attention to. So we're going to check that out as well. Let me give you a little bit of Ferris Hill Daddy talk, and we'll come right back. All right? Stay with us. Don't y'all go nowhere. Y'all ain't doing nothing anyway, at least not here in Massachusetts, because it's raining on this Memorial Day. So y'all ain't getting ready for no cookout or nothing. Y'all not doing nothing else. All right, we'll be right back.
Everything about you. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. Every day you get up, you've been given a gift. That's why they call it the present. And it's up to you of how you unwrap it. So yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery, today is a gift. So don't let the pain of your past bleed into your present and poison your future. Stop replaying the movie, why did this happen to me? When it's done with you, be done with it. If it looks like you keep running into pigeons, it's an indication that you're flying too low. So set your sights a little higher. Remember, eagles fly by themselves. If you can see the invisible, you can do the impossible. Allow your challenges to be a stepping stone to propel you into new possibilities. So be discontent with your past accomplishment. You're only as great as your last success. So maintain your hunger and your passion. Remember this, within every seed there is a tree. In every tree there is a forest. Who and what you were born into It's simply the environment to prepare you for your ultimate purpose. It was not a setback, it was a setup. Your purpose and potential is bigger than your past, pain, or problem. Dedicate to you. Listen to your heart, don't let your mind fool you. Another talk dedicated to you. Whatever you do is gonna surely come back to you. Successful people will do the things they hate to get the things they love. Much of life is about sacrifice. You gotta give up something to get something. Success is not about what you accomplish, but it's what you have overcome. For it's the test that you pass in life which qualifies you for the next level. You have to be willing to face your challenges and overcome them. Most people drive 12,000 miles a year moving forward, but most accidents are caused when they move backwards. You gotta stay focused on what's ahead of you instead of what's behind you. It's your daily routine that determines your success or failure. Whatever you practice at is what you become great at. What's more important than being intelligent is having the right attitude. Respect costs you nothing, but it will cost you everything not to have it. So don't be too smart for your own good. Remember, a hard head makes a soft behind. What's more important than your five senses is common sense. The heart of a fool is in his mouth, but the heart of a wise man is in his character. So don't sweat the small things. The answer for a short temper is a long walk. Be slow to speak, quick to listen, and remember this: you haven't lived long enough to know everything. Your character is what matters most. Once you have been labeled with a bad reputation, it's hard for people to see you any other way. A good name is worth more than all the money in the world. Your life is broken up into three parts. First you learn, then you earn, and then you return. You gotta get back.
All right. 413-337-1867. My man says systemic racism ended in 1968. Wow. 1968. Man, I missed it, man.
Tell that to everybody that's died this year and last year. Tell that to everybody.
You tell them, baby. You tell them. What rock did this guy crawl out from under?
Thank you.
Good question. Good question. I hear you, Sister Kathy.
Kathy.
This fool is crazy. Oh, my. This guy sounds familiar. I get some of them who call it that foolery, Evan. Straight up. They be tripping.
That was very weird. But it was, I had looked at the number. It was the same guy that was probably on crack.
Where is the first lady today?
Oh, she's sleeping it.
Hey, I sent the little one upstairs to get her.
She was asleep. I had asked her
To see if she's gonna come on, and she said she'd rather sleep than deal with y'all. I'm sure that's not exactly what she said, but
she just wanted to sleep in.
She's being lazy today. Just put it that way. She's being lazy today. So she just decided she'd rather get her sleep on Memorial Day than hang out with us today. So it is what it is. It be what it be, and it is what it is. And the first lady said, you know what? I'm sleeping. Eye on the Hog on Netflix. All right. Check that documentary out, y'all. Two Americas. White America, they respect. Yeah. Black Americans fought in the war, and they still disrespect us. Facts. All day long. I see y'all on the gram. The gram has got to get its act together where it can be coalesced into the streaming platforms where we can do them all at the same time. We have to do the gram separately because we can do Facebook, YouTube, all of that together. But I'll be glad when the gram is able to do that so we can bring all of these audiences together. I'm trying to bring it out. I'm trying to bring it out. Trying to bring it out.
I can't believe this is actually happening in the real world.
Yeah, it's happening in the real world, baby girl.
I can't even trust anybody when I go outside to play with my friends.
That's a 9-year-old. Somebody thinks you're cute.
Thank you.
That's right. You're right, Michael Moore. And that's why I said if we had black folks out here doing all this mass shooting, man, they would change those gun laws so quick. I mean, lickety split. They would change those gun laws. The Republicans would be sponsoring restrictive gun law legislation. You better believe it.
Some people are crazy. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Benjamin.
Benjamin, you know you my man, right? You my dude. That's my dude right there, y'all. Y'all the language might be a little coarse, but that's my dude right there. If you go by my church, there's a huge sign on the side of the church. And some folks have said, well, Bishop, you know, you're making your church a target with that sign. It says Black Lives Matter. Huge sign right on the side of the church. Benjamin put that sign up there. That's my dude right there. Never heard it till today. I'm glad I brought this subject matter out then, because there's a lot of people who need to hear about. They need to hear about the whitewashing of Memorial Day. They really need to learn the history of most holidays. To really, I mean, and I'm not judging whether folks choose to celebrate, but how they celebrate should be considered, and what they're celebrating should be considered. Really? So the first time you heard that was on CNN? Wow. Somebody saying hello to you.
Hi.
Don't let all this stuff about you being cute go to your head now.
Okay.
No, Robert, they don't want us knowing that. They don't want us knowing the truth. They don't want us knowing the truth. I'm trying to do the best I can. Doing the best I can. Remember, say bye to Daisy. Bye, Daisy. That almost sounded like your grandmother was trying to get on here. There she is. See, look.
Hi, Mimi.
Apparently, you can't see her yet. Apparently, she ain't sleeping in.
I guess she's probably on her phone or something.
I don't see her picture though.
No. Probably because her light is off.
But she can't do this in the dark. Let me see what she's trying to do. What you trying to do here with no picture?
Oh my God.
Yes.
What'd you say? Ooh, you real choppy. What are you on?
She's on her phone.
Oh, you're on your phone? We don't see you. You know? So you decided that we weren't going to see you.
Right.
Someone literally had typed in the chat, "Where's Lady Swan?"
You feeling it?
Where you at, babe? Why you sound so choppy?
I don't know.
All right, talk. So I know whether you on here or not.
Babe, you already here. We have problems. Good morning, everyone.
We're just going through the
Take the board, put that back. Take a decoration.
Yep. We're taking our holiday back. Taking our country back.
Papa, I hate your voice. That is scary.
We're taking our country back.
That is weird.
We're taking our holiday back.
First time we did this, I was literally laughing because why?
We need to teach and educate our young people at the earliest age possible. I feel you.
I already know a lot about the world.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I think one of the things that help us when schools are closing down and parents start thinking about having the quote skills to teach the kids at home. And I realized that our experience was that we are our kids' and that first and then the schools is complement what we are teaching at. So and we learned that lesson years ago, how effective and how that works. Our older daughter, who she turned her elementary school upside down with Columbus Day. Questioning the teacher and the whole school and the whole school. Why are we celebrating Christopher Columbus discover America? Second grade, how could you discover that? How could you discover something? People were already there, native, already there. And why would you want to celebrate a murderer, rapist, she asked questions like, didn't he prevent smallpox disease in my kids? And that was all because he was teaching at home what he was reading at home. That she is her freaking teacher and her a language arts teacher, and it got all the way back up to the principal there at least
Are
for
you
a
about
few
to call her?
years. I don't know what they're doing now because this is when she was in second grade, 3 years old.
Answer
But
your phone, babe. Answer your phone. Babe, answer your phone. Answer your phone.
I don't know why they're teaching us.
Okay. You there?
Oh, so my sound was
Yeah, your sound is better now. Talk.
okay. All right. So no, I was just telling a story about, us being our children's first teachers and educators. And I mean that is a mandate as a parent that you have to be your kids' first teacher. Uh, one of the things that we just naturally did, and I believe you took the lead on this because you're stuck. And so we always had libraries in our home, had tons of books. It was very important for us to have educational films. It was certain films that came out when we were young, like Roots, for instance. The story of Miss Jane Pittman, that we watched with our children when they were really young because they made such an impact on us. And so, seeing them do the same thing with their children now, that's one thing. And then the other thing, I was telling the story, I guess y'all didn't hear me. I was telling the story about how, being our kids' first teacher and the school's supposed to be, kind of what we're teaching at home because, as African Americans, it's really important to teach our children the truth about history. How, one child can really, disrupt that white supremacist system that's going on in the educational system. And so, I was telling the story of Shannon when she was in second grade and how they was, like they usually do, getting ready to celebrate Columbus Day or whatever, and they was written by Christopher Columbus in 1492. Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue and this, that, and the other, discovered America, and our second grader, questioned that, and said that wasn't true. And then she said, why would we want to celebrate a murderer? Why would we want to celebrate a rapist? Why would we want to celebrate somebody who stole, land and resources from a people, from a civilized people? Why would we want to, and it got to the point to where, those teachers had to, certainly be honest and tell the truth. And then it got back to the principal, and at least for a few years, I don't know what's going on now because our kids are out of elementary school, but at least for a few years, that one child, our one daughter, shut down the celebration of Christopher Columbus at her school.
Oh, thank you, Auntie Shannon. I had to learn about it in school. We had to watch a few videos on Brain Pop about it. I literally left the room because I already know what he did to our people.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what we try to do, baby. We try to educate our children. We try to tell our children the truth. I remember also when your mother was in the 6th grade, this still kind of blows my mind a little bit. But when she was in the 6th grade, and of course, here it is, Black History Month, And so you could do your, they ask, for children to do a Black History presentation. And so I told your mother, I said, well, don't do it on the typical people, that everybody, tends to do their presentation on. Don't do it on Martin Luther King, and don't do it on Harriet Tubman. Do it on somebody different.
My mom.
And so, your mom.
Yeah.
And so at the time, again, we have libraries all throughout the house in just about every room. And so one of my favorite authors and poets, she picked up a Maya Angelou book. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. So she bought a Maya Angelou book and she said, Mommy, I'm going to do it on Maya Angelou. And I said, oh, okay, great. So she did a book report, she did a presentation, trifold poster, and the whole nine. And she went to school and she did a presentation. And the teacher, who was not white, she was not a white lady, she was actually Hispanic, or she's Latina, did not know who Maya Angelou was.
You're kidding me.
Well, I remember her doing one on Mae Jemison, and the professor not knowing who Mae Jemison was as well.
What professor?
Huh?
What professor? What child was that?
Shannon. She was doing a report on missing the astronaut, and
no. Oh, you talking about in college?
No. This was at Indian Orchard.
No, babe, that wouldn't be correct, because Indian Orchard brought Mae Jemison here.
Well, I remember her doing a report on Mae Jemison and them not knowing, her teacher not knowing who she was.
Well, that's really funny, because that would be really weird, because Mae Jemison.
And maybe that's how they got to know who she was.
Yeah, and I don't remember the chronological order, but I didn't remember that. I didn't remember a teacher not knowing who Mae Jemison was. But I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised that if later on, in middle school, high school, that people didn't know who she was. But Indian Orchard had brought Mae Jemison to Springfield.
So there's a question from the audience. I'm gonna throw this out here, and y'all can chime in the comments as well. I got it up on the screen now. Do you think desegregation helped or hurt Black Americans? I think there's two sides to that argument. There's a side of the argument that can certainly state that it opened up opportunities that we did not have under segregation, opportunities in terms of employment, education, and other venues that we were restricted from. But at the same time, I'll say that there was a sense of community and camaraderie in which Black people came together to help each other and to be that village. There was a certain level of teaching of our own history when we were segregated in our own schools that we lost when we began to be taught by the dominant society. So there were some ups, and there definitely were some downs to the whole desegregation argument. But I'll throw that question out there. You can give your take on it.
The way that I answer it, I definitely understand why we thought it was the right thing to do was to pursue desegregation. I understand that. I get that, because it would be the right thing to do, or it would be certainly appropriate for Black people to be embraced and received and given the same equities and rights as white folks in this country. However, I'm going to answer that question a little bit differently from my husband, and I'm going to say I'm leaning more towards the fact that it hurt us ultimately, because But I do understand again why our ancestors pursued it, because it's right. It's right. But unfortunately, we don't live in a country that is interested in doing what's right when it comes to black people. So I just think that we have ended up wasting a whole lot of time and energy, and all of that time and energy that we have spent on trying to get white people to do the right thing could have been spent on us continuing to invest in our community, invest in ourselves, reconstructing and rebuilding, what they, tear down, Tulsa, the Tulsa massacre and other Black Wall Street throughout the country. We have Black Wall Street throughout the country, not just in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We had them everywhere, and we were rebuilding everywhere. We were reestablishing ourselves in a whole lot of different places. So now I just think that, okay, lesson learned, and we need to, get back to spending the focus and attention on us and flourishing in that way.
All right.
I don't know if it helps us or it doesn't, because
You'll say what you want to say, baby. Go ahead.
because segregation did make us do things that we never thought we would.
Like
Creating new things that wouldn't be here today if segregation wasn't here.
So my grandbaby is saying there were some benefits to segregation, that it brought out a level of creativity in black people when they had to solely depend on themselves. Smart little girl, she must take after her grandfather.
That was desegregation.
Not preach.
No, it's segregation. Yeah, that's right. I'm sorry.
She must take after her grandfather.
I want to do stuff like this, talk about like the past and everything, and how we can help and stuff for it when I'm a little bit older. But I don't want to be a pastor.
Okay. You don't have to be a pastor. You can be in your own little space and do your own little thing.
To be serious, I want to make music.
She wants to make music.
I already started doing it, so.
You can do all of that and some. You don't have to put limits on yourself.
The elders and the ancestors thought that desegregation would in time put us on equal footing. The powers that be never looked at us as equals.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with that. They thought it would put us on equal footing. But every time we knock the door down, they change the game.
Pretty much. Or every time we catch up, they move the goalposts.
Well, that's exactly what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. It happens all the time. It happens all the time, and sometimes, it's so covert, and it's so sophisticated now. There's no language to it. Sometimes you can't explain it. It's like you feel it, and you know that you are engaged in a racist system. Look at the educational system. Look how much it costs to go to school.
Yeah, it's astronomical.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know.
It costs to go to school and get a degree in this country. Look how much it costs to go to school. You can't tell me that is not constructed in ways to keep black folks out, to try to keep black folks out. But we keep what? We keep excelling, although we keep, excelling and in debt. But, we keep, again, knocking the door down, doing it anyway. And then, like you said, they move the goalpost.
Change the rules of the game. Soon as we master the game, they want to change it.
So you might go on and get your PhD, but you're gonna still be paying student loans. You still paying student loans, and you're like 50 years old.
Woo! All the more reason.
President Obama. Look at President Obama, and him and his wife, they were not poor per se, whatever, but he was still paying his student loans when he started running for president.
Greatness has come out of our struggle and willingness to survive. God is with us. I preached a message by that title. God is still with us. And I believe that he really still is and will always continue to be. So as you all are celebrating, whatever way you're going to celebrate on Memorial Day, please keep in mind that this is a holiday that started out celebrating the liberation of black people, respecting those black soldiers who gave their lives. They came to decorate their graves, to have a parade, and to celebrate their sacrifice on behalf of our liberation. That's what Memorial Day was about, until it was hijacked and whitewashed, like Me Too, so many other movements. But we have to keep that history in the back of our mind, and it's so interesting to see so many of you talk about you never heard this until recently, or some of you never heard it until today. And so look that up and teach it, spread the word, to your peeps. Let them know what it's all about. Here in Springfield, we're not doing any cooking out because it's raining. So enjoy your cook-ins and your cookouts, and hopefully you got them. You're gonna have them turkey wings for the day, though, right?
Yes, I am gonna have the turkey wings for today. But listen, I just wanted to encourage people to talk to the elders in your family. Have those little bedside conversations, or at the new conversations in the living room. Go by to visit them, talk to them. I used to love, that's why I had such a historical perspective of my family lineage, because I used to love to sit at my grandparents' knees and talk to them about their lives and question them about how they ate, how they dressed, how they went to school, why they dropped out of school. Like, you knew that my grandfather was illiterate, and he used to run away to school, and his father used to go and get him and beat him, and he used to tell him, you don't need to go to school, you don't need to have an education, I need you to work on this farm. So you knew that my grandfather was a Renaissance man. He could fix anything, he could do anything, but he couldn't read and write. And the reason why he couldn't read and write was because his father wouldn't let him go to school. But, I knew all of that stuff about my history because I would ask my grandparents. So, young people, if you are still blessed enough to have your grandparents or elders or seniors, around you in your circle, talk to them. Go and visit with them. Pick their brain, pick their spirit, pick their heart. Get some wisdom nuggets from them, because I'm telling you, you're going to need them to get you through life. And I'm telling you, that those words and them telling you about their lives and what they've been through and what they experienced and giving you their perspective on life, or whatever, money can't pay for. That's a real education. That's a real education.
All right. Now, someone is telling me to tell you they enjoyed the gospel on yesterday. I'm assuming they enjoyed you singing the gospel music. So please tell the First Lady that. So I just told her. Somebody else wants a plate of Michael Moore wants a plate of the wings, of the turkey wings. You're not getting none of my wings, bro.
That's my grandmother's favorite
None of mine either.
You're not getting.
My grandmother's favorite famous recipe of turkey wings. Yeah.
Not getting none of my wings.
I'm making myself a fluffy dress.
Robert, we're going to do the best we can to keep bringing you information that our community needs to have. Yes, we are the chosen people. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes. I got to go, y'all.
Take responsibility. I love y'all. Thank you for having me. Keep praying for me. Thank you for watching and listening to my husband's show. Love you, Maya. I'll see you in a minute.
Okay.
All right. I got to go, y'all.
Bye.
Stuff to do. People to see.
Places to be.
Places to be. I got to make TikToks with my granddaughter. All that kind of stuff. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All right. I'm out of here. Until the next time I talk to you and you talk to me. Always remember, God loves you. And so do I.